Good morning, my name is Joanna and I'm a medic serving in the New Zealand Defence Force. My chosen topic is differential barriers that women face in today's military which affect the integration and equality of workplace employment within combat roles. The reason I chose this topic to study is because of my personal interests. I am a current serving woman in the New Zealand Defence Force and like all other females am not allowed to serve in combat roles due to my different physical and health barriers. These areas need to be identified and from there we can find ways to adapt and overcome them. The aim of this randomised experimental study is to investigate if there are still areas that need addressing and how we can adapt and overcome them. By identifying and addressing these barriers, the information gathered from this research will be used to help implement an equal workplace for women in the military. The specific methodology I chose for my research was qualitative. Although quantitative research would interpret the results in a numerical form, a qualitative research would give an opinion-based understanding of how the participants felt about the addressed topics. Therefore, for this type of research, a qualitative approach is the most appropriate. The instrument that I will be using in my study is a semi-structured interview. This form of qualitative methodology is appropriate as it will obtain the different views and opinions that each participant wishes to portray. The reason I have chosen a semi-structured interview is because of the flexibility it allows the researcher. The questions that we will ask have been structured to a certain point, however taking into consideration the different responses and the responses from the observer and the direction that may lead the researcher. There are several variables that may affect the representation of the chosen sample technique. These have been considered and eliminated to protect validity. These variables include any personnel under training, any personnel currently on deployment, and any PERS away from their home bases during this time of study. This will exclude approximately 12% of our sample pool. Therefore, we will sample 20% of each of the three services, ensuring personnel of the high level and confidence and a low margin of error. By analysing data, we are looking for explanatory patterns. Some patterns forms over time, and others take the form of causal relations among variables. With cross-case analysis, we are examining our data for patterns that appear across several observations that represent different cases under study. This strategy can be broken down into a further two sections: variable-orientated analysis and cross-orientated analysis. The researchers will be using the variable-orientated analysis that describes and explains a particular variable. This study intends to highlight possible avenues that can be called upon to mitigate current barriers for females to be inclusive in combat-ready roles. By identifying the fact that there are physical and health concerns that are stopping women serving in combat roles, this will allow us to address these areas. For example, if fitness testing is to be performed and maintained, then it should be done so in an appropriate manner that encompasses both gender capabilities. As well as this, it also needs to be job specific. By finding ways to adapt and overcome these barriers, this will not only help women, but the Defence Force as a whole. The retention numbers and length of service will increase, with most women being more job satisfied. Thank you for your time and patience. This concludes my oral presentation.